Kamati ya Seneti iliyobuniwa kwa muda kuchunguza malipo yaliyofanywa na Bodi ya mazao kwa wafanyibiashara wachache inandaa kikao chake hii leo. Kamati hiyo inatarajiwa kuhoji maafisa katika Wizara ya Kilimo na pia Bodi ya Nafaka nchini baada ya suala kuhusu malipo ya kiholela kupewa kipaumbele na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta ambaye anataka wahusika wakamatwe.
That's okay. And I said we are in a liberalized economy.
That's okay.
We agree with that.
Then number two, when it comes to the treasury being involved in the importation, it's only where the importation is in respect of duty-free importation.
We are clear on that one.
So, but on a day-to-day basis, there is no issue of giving import license from the treasury. We are not involved in the. In fact, what we are involved in under normal circumstances to know where is the maize coming from. If the maize is coming outside the East African Community region or the COMESA, then there will be a 50% duty on the maize that is coming. And
you know, we are okay. Don't defend yourself yet.
CAS,
we are just asking about procedure.
Yes, Madam Chair, again, CAS. Yes. I think you better assist your colleague. Who in this particular case requested Treasury to do a gazettement of the importation of the duty-free maize?
In this particular case?
In this particular case, that was 2017. Ministry of Agriculture. Madam Chair, we may require to get the letter.
The gazette notice.
The gazette note, the letter even, requesting Treasury to do the gazettement. And then within the two gazettement, the gazettement,
gazette and the extension,
there were two commodities to be imported during this particular free duty window: milk and maize. And in the milk gazettement, there was a particular quantity required. But for maize, it was not indicated the particular quantity required. So, Bwana CAS, why didn't Treasury indicate how much quantity of maize do we require within this duty-free maize? Why was it just free, such that anybody can import as much as you can?
You know, during that time there was a shortage, and they just say they opened it for everybody to import. And actually, they even requested for an extension of the period, because during the
same Ministry of Agriculture requested for extension.
For an extension.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the period to, I think, as being Treasury, we didn't know the quantities that were required. So when they said that they still needed some more time, they requested for an extension, which we gave.
Yeah, our biggest question is what she has actually typed.
The quantities.
Yes.
Why were the same gazette notice that you gave?
Yes.
You actually released two, one for milk and one for maize. In the milk one, there were very clear timelines that you are actually giving a window between this, and the quantities are this much. So it means once the quantity was received, you could even stop earlier. In the maize one, it was importation of maize until end of October. No limits of importation was done. No specific people were asked to do it. So everybody, of course, had the freedom. Isn't there a standard way of gazetting for goods that are being brought in duty-free?
We normally rely on the parent ministry, because you remember even sugar, we used to get the quantities and all that from the parent ministry. For milk,
yeah, but wouldn't you demand if they carelessly give you something like that? Because it has not just affected the farmer,
yes,
as indeed affected KRA collection.
Definitely.
That you had a flooding which did not attract anything, and now they are still in the stock. Wouldn't you have been interested as a ministry to know actually how much you are going to lose in this period?
That time there was that food shortage. It was the shortage. You remember when the maize had gone to, was it going to almost 225 a packet? And there was a directive that maize should come, the price of maize should come down.
No problem.
And there was no
quantity.
maize.
We're talking about the quantity.
Yeah.
Do you just open floodgates, or do you also tell somebody, hey, you are the professionals here, we have a deficit of maize?
How much do you want?
As Treasury, we assume that I don't want to say we assumed. As Treasury, we could not know the quantities that was required. So it was now the business of Ministry of Agriculture to actually monitor.
Yes, the question is you didn't have to. But won't you be worried that actually you are losing taxation because every store is now full? The fact that you did not restrict the amounts has resulted in what we are in now. The clock that arrived was the open gates.
Secondly, your colleague has just mentioned that there were consultation before the gazettement, before the request of the from the Ministry of Agriculture.
That was the multi-agency team.
Yes. Did they do a research on how much we needed? Did they indicate how much can be imported for a particular time, so that at least we can now close the window because it rained in October, and we suspected then that we shall harvest? Definitely Kenyans were continuing with farming and they were growing more maize. Could we have maybe gotten an indication of how much do we require for this particular time?
And through the chair, the CAS is trying to suggest that once a request comes from the ministry, it's not their business to question. It's like you don't even live in Kenya. You see maize, you see the maize is ready in the field. I don't know if Treasury people don't come from areas where maize is grown. You see there's maize ready, people are harvesting maize. Somebody is asking you for an extension. And you say, oh, since you've asked, I've got no, I just have to sign. Is that the work of Treasury? Are you just a robot? You don't even question the person requesting for a waiver. Excuse me, why exactly are you going for this waiver?
Or did you have another consultation before October? Before the extension? Yes?
I just wanted to accept that from the experience, the need for, because it has also been raised even in the issue of sugar, I think the need of interrogating the process of importation in terms of the quantities required, I think is a lesson learned in terms of the way forward.
Let me ask you, Anyambura, how many were you in that boardroom? In this
particular
boardroom?
We used to have a meeting in OP, because I can even bring the
minutes, but how many roughly were you?
Quite a number.
And the amounts never featured?
I think in terms of the amounts, the explanation that has been given is that you remember how acute the shortage was, to the extent that
it was acute, but you know, even if your children panic because there is no sugar in the house, the father is not going to panic and say there is no sugar, so go and bring a whole sack.
So what had been maybe probably wrongly is that because it was time bound, the importation was time bound. And if you look at the extensions which were given, it is after analysis at that particular time. After the time.
Take us. Were you in the meeting that analyzed? That analyzed the extension?
We have letters that analyzed. I think the Ministry of Agriculture did.
What did they say? The ministry said that there was no maize.
Hiyo ni kamati ya Seneti ambapo wanazungumzia kuhusu sakata hiyo ya mahindi. Hapo jana waziri wa Kilimo Mwangi Kiunjuri amesema tume ya kupambana na ufisadi na idara ya upelelezi ndizo zinazochelewesha juhudi za kuwanasa mabwenyenye wanaoendelea kuwaibia wakulima. Kiunjuri amezungumza baada ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kumfokea hadharani mara kadhaa kuhusu swala hilo la malipo kwa wakulima.
Joto la sakata ya mahindi limekuwa likipanda kila uchao. Hamaki ya rais imedhihirika peupe.
Waziri wa Kilimo Bwana Kiunjuri, tujue ya kwamba sasa mchezo umeisha. Tafuta hawa watu ambao wanakula mali ya wengine, utuletee tufunge, ama wewe mwenyewe utakuwa na shida katika hiyo shida.
To Parliament, I tabled evidence. What have I not tabled? I'm now asking you. You have been in Parliament, you have been in this boardroom, I have issued more than 6 press conferences, I have been summoned in Parliament. That tells you where the buck stops. In fact, it is EACC and DCIO to do their work. Now I'm being crucified for since I have not committed.
Sakata ya mahindi imesalia swala nyeti katika wizara hii ya kilimo tangu mwaka jana. Waziri wa sasa anasema kwamba si yeye wa kulaumiwa. Kero la wakulima limekuwa bayana. Matunda ya jasho lao yamevunwa na watu ambao hata hawajui kushika mpini.
The big question is, who was paid the money? B, where did the ministry realize it had been paying traders and not the genuine farmers?
Mimi niko na shamba na sio ndogo. Niambie ni nani mkulima ambaye anakuza Kenya hii mahindi ya shilingi milioni 200?
I have only 2 that I can be questioned of, which I also noted today. That there is one, Anthony Kimngetish Chebi, who was paid 8 million on 26th of June 2018. And another one, Isaiah Kipkemei, who was also paid 5.7 million in June. Those are the only 2 cases of the 152 that were paid when I was still in office.
Kiunjuri anasema waliovunja imani ya wakulima ni waliosimamia wizara kabla yake.
Totaling to 2.4 billion. That is the only money that was paid when I assumed my duties in the ministry. It is important to note that between October 2017 and February 2018, the National Cereals and Produce Board had paid 7 billion to farmers. That is allowed the time I was assuming office.
Enoch Sikolia, Runinga Citizen, County ya Nairobi.